All right, we are back. Finals preview. We don't even have to do much of an intro because we're here. You
Yeah.
know, we've skipped a few rounds. Knicks Spurs finals. I'm hyped. This is this is like this is the best thing I could ever ask for. I'm gonna do a lot of talking, so I'll let you. What do you
Yeah.
think about how the playoffs have gone so far, Jacob? What do you think about the bracket, how we've gotten here, the conference finals? What are your thoughts?
We were talking about it before, but before the podcast, but Victor Wembanyama, he is potentially taking over the league. And if he beats you guys, I think the rest of the league is screwed for the next like 10 plus years at least. And they have
Still
such
needs
a good team around him. Like they're just going to keep getting better. That's the crazy part. We talked about this before. This is basically his second year in the league. Like he was out for most of last year. He only played 20, 30 games, something like that. This dude, like they got a high pick for a reason. I guess they got kind of lucky with that draft lottery stuff. But still, anyway, they got Harper, they got Castle. I think the team around them, they're just going to keep getting better. The fact that they're here right now is kind of insane. I didn't really think they'd actually beat the Thunder, and they did. Like I thought it'd be close, but I do think the injuries kind of impacted it. Think it would have been maybe closer, but I still think the Spurs like kind of showed they're the better team here, and it's getting scary. And I think the Knicks, if they don't put up a good fight, it'll be scary for the rest of the league for a while. But I don't know. What's your take so far on maybe just the West? Like I know you're ecstatic about your Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, I mean, I agree with you in that it was so surprising to see the Spurs be able to actually beat the Thunder, even given some of the injuries that they had. Like one of the Thunder's best kind of traits is their depth. So the fact that they weren't able to compensate with the guys that they had and that the Spurs were still able to kind of take it to them, even with their own injuries, like it was huge. And I don't think, I mean, it's like you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like the last team that did this, that went this far and was this early on in their progression was the Oklahoma City Thunder. They ended up losing, and then Harden got traded away from that team the next year. So we never really saw what that team would have done like at its full potential. But it's like that team still lost in the finals. And I feel like that team was probably further along in terms of the progression. Like Wemby's only in his third year. This team has a rookie, like Dylan Harper's a rookie, and he's making significant contributions. So it really can't be understated. And I feel like maybe it is being overlooked. Like how this is a historic Spurs team. The fact that they've done this and made it to the finals this young is is
It's insane.
crazy. And you looking at these other teams in the West, like I think it really does change the whole landscape of the West, where all of these teams are going to be chasing the Spurs now, and the teams that don't have a realistic shot might just end up kicking the can. Like a team like Minnesota, they have to make a move now. You can't run it back with your same team with Randall and Gobert
He's
and
not a guy like Giannis, I think.
yeah, it's like and think things that are going to go differently for a team like, the Lakers, you got swept by the Thunder. There's no way that they can run it back with that same team and expect anything different to happen against the Spurs or them. The Rockets, another team where it's like they went out round one against the Lakers. So it's all these teams now that I think based off of the dominance of the Spurs and like how they are only going to be ascending, I don't know. I mean, like, what teams out of the West do you think have a legitimate chance of contending next year? OKC, you could throw in there, but like, barring trades, I don't think any of those rosters really have a shot. I think there's nothing stopping it from being the exact same conference finals unless Giannis
Should be.
or someone else significant enough moves to a team in the West.
Yeah, I don't think any other team. I think there's some teams like I would have liked to see the Lakers with Luca. Like I don't think he
I agree.
really like I think they could have maybe beat the Thunder. That's very I didn't think they were with Luca. With like I think Thunder still probably win with Luca, but I don't know. I think Luca could have made a difference. He's that type of like player in the playoffs and just in general. But other than that, maybe Anthony Edwards if you put the right pieces around him, but I don't know. And again, sorry, maybe Jokic. That's the last one though, just because he's been good. But like
Yeah.
last like 3 years in the play, or since they won it, they have not been good in the playoffs. So I don't know. Maybe not them, but like those are the three teams that maybe could sneak in. But the Spurs should always be in the conference finals the next 5 years, barring some crazy injury or
Yeah.
trade.
No, I agree.
Yeah. And the East, I mean, you guys just dominated. I think we talked about this last time. I was just like, no matter who you play between the Pistons and Cavs, you're gonna win. And we're both kind of on the same page, but y'all just dominated.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we can get into it is another sweep, back-to-back sweeps. They read it out as a stat during one of the games. Mike Breen is like in between 1999 and like 20, like before Brunson signed, the Knicks had won a total of like it was like a single digit number of playoff games. We have won more playoff games during this run than we won for like over 2 decades, which is
crazy.
insane. In this year, I mean, we've just been so dominant. You could say what you want about the East being weaker, but we have treated these teams like lesser competition. And the two losses we had against Atlanta were only by 1 point. Every other game we've won pretty definitively. We beat Atlanta by 50 in the closeout there.
This
76ers never really had too competitive of a game. I mean, and then with Cleveland, I think were beating us. Game one had a great lead, and then I think we took their soul
that
winning
end of the
that game.
series
Like,
right there.
yeah, that game was the series. I think I could have seen Cleveland maybe getting a game. After that game, I felt pretty confident that it was going to be another sweep. Um, and then to
That was crazy.
seeing Cleveland react their reaction, Mitchell, Harden, and Atkinson being back is crazy. All of them being like we analytically won the series and all this is like it was a delusion that they created for themselves, which I find so interesting. Um,
I've never heard that.
Ever
Never.
like it was really interesting. Kind of seeing that reaction from them, but at the end of the day, we swept them. Like it's not they didn't win a game. The one game that they were winning, they lost in the last 7 minutes.
Like,
Like
even if you give them that game, like sure, you guys won till 7 minutes left. Like you still won 3-1. Like you still
literally,
dominated from the right. Not dominate. You didn't kill them every game, but you won by about like 10 every game at
yeah.
least. Like it wasn't even close. Like it didn't come down to the wire. There weren't good games.
And
Like
shout out to Landry Shamet, legacy Landry Shamet series. He hit big. I don't know. Landry Shamet, I think that was one of the big things last season was we were lacking. It was like the first playoff run that we made with Brunson and them. It's like we had DiVincenzo on the team pre-cat, and I think a lot of it was really he brought a lot off of our bench that we haven't really had since then. Our bench has been lacking. Landry Shamet this series really provided that, and if he can provide that same level of play in the finals, I mean, pretty much that whole game was Josh Hart wasn't hitting threes. They swapped out Hart for Shamit. They were able to spread the floor. Brunson was able to get more easier shot like that. That changed the whole dynamic of that game. And then if Hart's hitting shots, I feel like it makes it even easier for us. So I feel great about this series. Pretty good heading into the next round too. But I don't know. What are your takeaways or any other thoughts on this one?
you guys just own the East right now. Like you killed everybody in your way. So you deserve. I thought a sweep was like possible right after that game one. Like you guys took their souls. I think you said it perfectly. Really nothing else to say, but like everybody stepped up and Brunson's like the guy. He can be a number one guy. I saw somebody said he can't. He is.
No, he
No,
is.
I'm good. Yeah. I mean, this is all just so true. Wemby runs the West. Spurs beat Flopper and Co. Like, I think that photo like perfectly embodies it. I mean, again, we were talking about it before too, like the unethical hoops. What do you think about all that?
Look, I mean, the Spurs just they don't play ethical basketball. I feel like it's not really. I mean, they're good, obviously, and they won a championship last year, but it's like their best player is for as good as Shea is. Like, yes, he's a great player in a lot of ways, and like multiple time MVP, blah blah blah. He doesn't like he's just kind of gaming the system with like a lot of how he plays. It's like the James Harden school of basketball, which is like all right, like Harden won an MVP too, but what's his like? No one like it's not like he's respected any more than people who are actually like, kind of just playing their game. And Wemby, in contrast to that, like is just playing his game, is out there playing hard, and it's a difference. I think that was a lot of kind of the energy throughout this series it was like it was ethical versus non-ethical basketball and like the Spurs just kind of grinding it out and making it happen over the course of 7 games. Yeah, and
Totally
I guess
agree.
question to you too. I mean, sure you have more thoughts on the series too, but disappearing act from Chet in game 7, like that is the biggest waste of 50 million a
That's
year. And I
crazy.
think OKC has to trade him. I don't think
You
it's like
have
again with the roster building, they literally after this season, what makes you think that keeping like Chet's not the answer to Wemby and it's not going to get any better. So,
It, that's exactly how I feel like he's not. It's not going to get any better. Wemby's just going to keep getting better and better, and Chet's not going to rapidly get insanely better than him. Like it, if you really want to beat this team, you need a guy that can stop Wemby, and Chet just isn't that. It personally for me, I would do something like Giannis for Chet if that works money wise. I don't know, but I think Giannis he was defensive player of the year before. He's proven he can at least put up a fight or at least be more aggressive than Chet. Like there's more, at least you'll get offense out of him, not four
yeah.
points. Like there's so many more advantages to a guy like Giannis on this team than Chet. I would make a move like that personally, but I don't know. He really disappeared. That was 4 points, 2 shots. When he had the ball at the end of the game, he could have just ran at Wemby and got a foul on him and fouled him out. And he fell to the ground. He
L and
literally
threw the ball
crumbled
away. He was scared.
crumbled a million pieces, bro. His career just flashed before his eyes. It was kind of like it kind of reminded me of like a Ben Simmons. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, hopefully it doesn't end up like that, but that's just like right now what popped in my head. Um, but that was a good series. I think I'm excited to just see this finals, man. It's gonna be a good matchup.
Yeah, so I guess we can get into it. Yeah, it's starting tomorrow, game 1. We won the NBA Cup against the Spurs. I don't remember what our head-to-head on the rest of the season is, but it's like
I
we've
think
had a
it's
pretty
2-1 total with the NBA Cup.
okay,
You
so
guys.
it's like, we've been able to beat them in the regular season. Granted, clearly the Spurs have elevated to a different level in the postseason, but you could say the same about us. I don't know. I'll let you, what is your take on this series? Because I'm obviously I'm going to be biased, but what's your take on it?
We'll get into predictions later, but I don't know. Overall, I just think this is gonna be a long series. I don't think there's a clear favorite. I think Vegas has the Spurs as like a minus 200 favorite, which I think is a bit ridiculous. I think it should be closer to like minus 120, 130 for the Spurs, and I think they should be maybe slightly favored, but not by as much as they are. I think the Knicks are a really good team, and I think this should go. Honestly, I think it should go 7. Like these teams have proven they're both battle tested. They can get through anybody, figure out mismatches, stuff like that. I think Brunson's really the guy. I think Wemby can be the guy, and it's just how well they defend Wemby is really going to define this matchup. Between OG, I think you said would be guarding him, and like Mitchell Robinson. If they could do a good job on Wemby, I think Knicks win. Like I think it's that kind of that simple. But obviously, there's a lot of other factors. Like I think Castle's been a great defender this in the postseason. If he shuts down Brunson, like I don't know what they're doing defensively, but if he can shut down Brunson, and again, I haven't really seen Brunson get shut down, but if he can put up a physical fight, that could wear down the team. That could have some effects on the Knicks. So like there's a lot of matchup things I'm watching for, but other than that, like I just want to see a good series. Like I think it will be. What are your thoughts on it? As like as neutral as you can be, as
Objectively, objectively, yes, I do think this is the best. Like, I think this final series is probably the best outcome that we could have gotten. I mean, I don't know. OKC could have made it, but I think this series is a lot more, a repeat of the 99 finals. Um, either way this one goes, I think it's positive and exciting for the league. It's like the Knicks getting a championship would be massive. Um, but if it is Wemby getting his first championship now, like that really does, it puts him in kind of a different place when it comes to, obviously, I mean, it's early in his career. He's only 22, but Jordan, LeBron, like these guys didn't make it to the finals or win a championship that early. And if Wemby's able to do that with this team that's so young and ascending like that, could really, like, I mean, just what you were saying earlier, it's like it's going to be at least 5 years of the Spurs and Wemby continuing to do this and really being dominant in the West and maybe just across the league as well. Like I think that's another thing. If the Spurs just win this series and do so like comfortably, it changes the whole. It's like again, everyone is going to have to kind of reevaluate what they're working towards because it's like they're setting a pretty high bar, and they've set that bar in the West, already.
Totally agree, man. It's gonna be a good series. That's all I can say. I'm excited.
Yeah. Predictions.
I mean, yours is obvious. I guessed it, dude. Knicks in six.
It's what
Why,
I'm.
why six?
Look, my vision for this series. We're
At
gonna.
home?
I don't know which game, but we're the Spurs' first two games. We're gonna go 1-1. We're gonna win one of those games at home. I do not see them winning in the Garden. Maybe that's putting bad air into
Knock
that
on
they
wood.
could. But I don't see, I think that's we haven't seen a final like the Garden for the finals in a while. I think that we have one of the strongest home court advantages in the league. I think throughout the Eastern Conference Finals, our home court advantage applied to other teams' home courts. That probably, I'm assuming that won't be the same case with the Spurs, but still, I think it's gonna be something different. And I think our team is really I don't see us losing at home. So I think we're gonna come out of game four up 3-1. I think the Spurs win game five. I think we come back to New York, Manhattan explodes, and we win a championship. That's what I'm hoping for.
I could see it. I like the game by game prediction too. But yeah, I totally could see it. I think at least 6 or 7 games. Um, I chose Spurs. I think. I mean, again, they're like slightly favored. It's my prediction. I don't know. I think 7 games just feels right to me. Like I think it's going to go back and forth with the home court. Well, no, I think you guys are going to win the home court. Like most of your home court games, I do think the Spurs, if they need to, can win it. That win there if it's like critical. I don't know. I don't think. I don't know. I'm just guessing right here, but I think they could pull off a win on the road, but it's gonna be tough for sure. But 7 games. Like I just don't see any team taking like a 2-0 lead or anything like that. I think it's going to be close back and forth, and just I think just overall it could be Wemby's time. It could just be the Knicks' time. Like it's going to come down to that. Obviously, I'm not speaking well.
Yeah. No, I agree that I mean that is pretty much what it comes down. Like I think it's if Wemby wins this series, that's he's got the league on lock. But if not, it's like this might be our chance to break through and finally win something actually. And then long shot finals MVP prediction, since I have to make a Spurs one. What is it? Champagny?
Penny, yeah.
Yeah, I was like Champagny. I'm gonna go with. He played great in Game Four. I saw someone saying something about like, is he like a prime Klay Thompson, or is he like a different version of Klay Thompson? And the way he's been playing in this playoffs, I've seen it like it's with the spot up shooting, with the defense. He's been maybe one of the. I mean, we've talked about Dylan Harper, De'Aaron Fox, Castle. He's been up there with like being just as important to their unit. And I could see him, with his shooting, and then, kind of with his defensive impact as well. We have OG Anunoby on the other side, so a similar idea there, but could see him being one of the more consistent players for the Spurs. And if they are winning, then, assuming that he's making a pretty solid defensive impact as well. Um, and then with OG, kind of similar idea. I mean, he's been one of our, before he got injured against the 76ers, he was our best player this playoffs. Brunson has been playing well. Like obviously Brunson's been playing great, but OG was shooting the ball incredibly well, defending at a high level. And you mentioned it earlier, and you have Mitch on your side, but it's like he's going to be, I think, probably our primary Wemby stopper, especially on the perimeter. I think that he's going to have a lot of responsibility there, and I think if we win this series, when we win this series, it's going to be a lot on the back of his ability to just slow Wemby down, and discourage him, cause him more trouble. Chet was not able to do that. OKC was not able to consistently do that. They wanted Jalen Williams to do that. And they kind of gave him an opportunity to in the games that he was healthy, but he wasn't necessarily effective. Um, I think OG Anunoby, I think he's better than Jalen Williams, and he's been able to be effective against Wemby. I don't know the exact statistic, but he with defenders who have defended him for over 100 possessions, he's actually been one of the most effective defenders against Wembanyama in his career so far. So feel confident that OG will end up being one of the leaders in this series, and for us to win, like I think he'll have a solid two-way performance.
Yeah, and that's honestly, like you said, kind of why I picked Mitchell Robinson here. Like, I think they'll both kind of play a role guarding him. I think Mitchell Robinson, even with the broken finger or whatever it is, like, I think he can do the job and get a lot of offensive rebounds and do things that'll really help your team, obviously. And I don't know. I think he's really physical too. Like, he's big. He's like Wemby's, I mean, maybe probably a few inches shorter. He's 7 feet, right?
He's like 7'1" or 7'2", so he's
Like 3, 4 inches
closer.
shorter.
He weighs more than Wemby. Like he'll be able to match up with him physically.
Be a better matchup than Hardenstein, and people
Yes,
thought Hardenstein was physical. So like, I think Mitchell Robinson will be huge here. I don't think he needs the finger. Like that's for shooting, really. Like he just
he
needs to be
doesn't shoot.
physical with him. He doesn't shoot. Like we don't want him shooting. Like I guess if they shoot free throws, but
He doesn't hit those anyway, so it doesn't.
it's just either way. It's not exactly. It's not making a difference here. So like, I think he could be a good long shot. And I also think Dylan Harper, he played great defense on Shea most of the series when he was in. He didn't play big minutes. I think that's the only thing holding him back. But like he had a big game in game one. He almost had like a quadruple double, which was insane. So like against the Thunder. I think if he has big games defensively, he had 7 steals that game. If he has big games defensively and just gets rebounds and also is putting up points and maybe gets a double double, even a triple double in the series, I think that puts him in the realm of potentially being a Finals MVP. Really needs the Spurs to just do well as a team and not Wemby for this to happen. Like I think the award's obviously going to Wemby if they win, and most likely Brunson. That's why these are long shots, but if Harper can put up some points, like I think alongside his defense, he can be a good long shot here. This is one of my favorite sides here, for many reasons. But let's talk about the Cavs. I mean, they're just bad, and like we said, Kenny Atkinson's returning, James Harden's returning. Where does this team even go from here?
They're bad and delusional. I think that's like the worst part is that, yeah, I don't know where they go to, honestly. Like, I mean, this is kind of the Donovan Mitchell paradox is that he is a great player. He is not good enough to lead a team like on its own. Like, it's, I don't know. It's like, it's just crazy because it's like the Cleveland like made their team in like 2K or something. It's like, all right, Donovan Mitchell can't win a championship on his own. So we're going to bring in Harden. But it's like Harden is
Winner.
not reliable at all. Like that's like Harden's not the one who's going to push you over the edge. And he has never done that. He's been requesting trades nonstop because he can't do that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
They did this to themselves. I think that might be part of the delusion. Um, but I don't know. To answer your question, I don't know where they go from here. I feel like they would have to reconstruct their roster in a totally different way. I think honestly, and I don't know if they're really going to be in the Giannis sweepstakes, but they would probably be better off trying to trade either Jared Allen or and they'd get more for Evan Mobley. He's younger, but I don't think Mobley's that. I think they would be better off trading Mobley, honestly, just because he's not pushing them over the edge either. He's not enough of an offensive
Yeah.
player, like a creator on his own, really. Like he's like no different than Chet in my eyes in that regard. Like I think they offer a similar level of value. They're talented, obviously, but
But a lot of that's just from their height too.
yeah, it's like they're just tall and they can shoot and
Yeah,
like dribble kind of. Like they just like it's not.
kind of too. Not even that well. But yeah, and that's actually the other person that's on this slide. It's Chet Holmgren, but somebody else in front of it, which we'll get into later more on the next slide. Um, but yeah, I mean Chet, he's kind of like we said, like he's kind of you have to trade him, I think now, right? Like I don't know how you keep him on the team when the team you're chasing now with the Spurs has a guy like Wemby. Like you just can't.
No.
He's not going to get magically better. It's time to trade him. Like, what are your thoughts on Chet overall?
Yeah, I mean they were in like a different era too with like the aprons and stuff. I mean, one, it's I don't know. Thunder are just kind of in a weird place, and it's honestly kind of give it gives me um similar energy to Boston and what they just went through. And that obviously it's like they got over the hump, they won that first championship, but they're going to be able to use. I guess I'm curious as to what they will do, but they could use injury as an excuse to why they weren't able to progress as far as they wanted to. Are they going to try to run it back again with this team, you know, or are they going like I think that's where they're at a similar crossroads as Boston, where it's like you
Yeah.
could tell yourself that this team, if you give it another chance, you know, we'll make it next year. And
Get
we'll be
lucky
able
with some injuries, like
yeah, it's like they're both great regular season teams. So it's like, you could tell yourself that you're going to be able to make it back to the same spot, but is that going to get you over the hump? Like for the Thunder, is that going to get you over the Spurs next year? Is Chet really going to be able to? And then for the duration of his contract, do you want to be locked into Chet when he's not like is like that just is going to limit your flexibility across everything else? Like you can't have Chet not show up in game sevens and Jalen Williams be hurt, in the playoffs too. Like that's not two out of their highest three earners aren't effective or available. And like it's not a winning strategy.
yeah, totally. Yeah, he's cooked. He's gone. All right, big slide here.
Uh
Get into it, please.
so Ian, in his anger and frustration about the Thunder losing, he laid down a gauntlet. He wanted to throw down a bet, $200 on the finals outcome. He tried to challenge me and make it seem as if I wouldn't be willing to put money on my team. Now, the thing is, and why we have this shitty 2011 Knicks lineup up here is because I don't think it's, I just don't think that we're the same type of fans. I really think that's the issue here is that like, I watched this team and like I've watched every bad Knicks team for my entire life. Like the Knicks made the finals in 1999 and I was born in 2001. So I've never seen a really good Knicks team. Like the stat we mentioned, this is the best Knicks basketball I've ever watched. To delude yourself into thinking that I don't believe this team can win is crazy. Like that's like bluff. So I don't even understand throwing that out there. Now, this bet is also going to include, and we'll see if Ian follows through on this when the Knicks win. It's also going to include his Spurs championship replica ring, which he has purchased. Now, again, I come back to this whole being a real fan thing because I want to know I want to know why. Well, it's like, I've heard it from him why he's a Spur or why he's an OKC fan. But like, I want to know what bad OKC team. Like, I don't feel like we heard from Ian about the Thunder when they were bad. Like, I don't feel like we have the same. Like, I just don't think this is really the same. Like, you were a Thunder fan, and like when we were growing up, they had KD and Russ, and like it was cool to be a Thunder fan. And like maybe they were bad for a little bit, but it's like you still had Russ for a while. And then it's like, all right, you were trash, and then you got SGA and all these picks. And it was like, all right, the Thunder, there was a whole dynasty kind of being built in the background, even in the Thunder weren't good. It was like, okay, you were building towards something. Tell me what this 2011 lineup is building towards. Only one player on this list is still in the league. we're playing against him in the finals. He wasn't good enough for our team at the time. So it's like, again, I just don't think we're the same type of fan. And and it's like, again, we're doing this, but then Ian, is also throwing bets on the Knicks. He also bet on the Spurs. It's like we're throwing, it's like this money doesn't mean anything to you. It's like you don't care. You don't care about your team. These things don't matter to you, but what matters to you is your ring. So that's what this bet is about for me. Win or lose, I feel good about my team. I feel good about my fandom. Like the Knicks win a championship, I'm gonna feel phenomenal about life. If we lose, it's gonna suck. Like it'll be shitty. But in a year from now, next by the start of next season, I'll look back and I'll be satisfied with the run. Like again, this is the best Knicks basketball I've ever experienced. So I'm not upset at all with the outcome of how things have gone. And I've experienced and endured enough bad teams to know it's like, again, I'm not in this for 1 year. I'm in this for the long haul. This is a lifetime commitment, which again, so I'm not fretting over one. Again, it's like we're in this. We'll see what ends up happening. We'll see if everyone follows. Well, I'm gonna follow through, win or loss. Again, it's like because the money is not what matters to me about this bet. But for Ian, we'll see whether or not he follows through depending on the result. And that's just kind of we'll leave it there. And after the bet, I'm sure we'll have something to say about it again too. So
I'm excited to see what happens. Excited to see what happens. Let's go.
all right, but I guess that's it. We'll leave it there. Game 1 tomorrow. I don't know. Any lasting thoughts?
I just want it to be a hard fought series, like I don't want these like blowout games like you were having against the Cavs and like honestly a lot of the Spurs Thunder games were like
They
not
weren't
close.
that competitive games, really. Like
The Spurs were like kind of killing them, and then when the Thunder won, they kind of killed them.
killing them.
Like
Yeah.
it wasn't great games. So I just want good games and like that double OT game, like your game 1 against the Cavs. I think that'll just peak. It'll be good for the NBA overall. So like. I'm excited to see that. I hope that happens.
Yeah. Looking forward to watching an ethical finals, and it will be ethical because OKC is not in it. We will talk to you guys at some point, and hopefully, at that point, the Knicks are still winning the series or champions. So
Let's see.